Hey guys, how's it going? You doing all right? So what's going on with little Jack and Lily Sullivan? How come old stepdad is defending the uh, the ex partner, the one that supposedly ghosted him, the one that he supposedly kicked off, his mom kicked off the property, which we don't know which one that really exists because of all the lies. Telling social media to leave her alone. Are you out of your mind? This is a mother that has two missing children with special needs that vanished into thin air for no reason. I mean, do you think that we're not going to sit here and look at this suspiciously? I mean, if you were on the outside looking in, and the actions speak louder than the words, because there ain't no words coming from the mama other than lawyer up. Except for her one little speech of lies that she gave, which you could tell was like freaking rehearsed for probably 30 minutes. That's how poor it was. I don't know. I'm torn here because I don't know which way to go. I don't know if whatever happened on Dana's watch, and that's why she's blaming him, and they covered it up, and she knows about it, and her guilt is coming out, or if she had something to do with it. I don't know, it could have been her. To me, it's both of them. They neglected the heck out of these kids. Sorry, but that's what it's looking like, is neglect from heck. Sorry, I hate to say it that way, but I mean, what else do we have to go on? All we have is inconsistent stories and lies. Fake lie detector test, not saying a word, like told to be quiet, told to shut up. Why would law enforcement tell that mother not to speak? But I don't know. Has law enforcement mentioned that they told the mom not to speak? I don't think so. So I'm starting to wonder if more and more of this is just them rambling from watching too much true crime. I really think they knew a lot about the Sebastian Rogers case because it's a lot similar. I know it's more rural, more like Summer Wells, but yet the way that the mother is acting, Maleha, is acting just like Katie Proudfoot. And Daniel is acting just like Chris Proudfoot. And as we're learning that CPS won't even let him see his own daughter. What the heck? What is that telling you guys? We see a similar situation in Sebastian Rogers' case now that evidently the judge has figured out that he was lied to by the stepfather, by Christopher Proudfoot, about being cleared. I mean, people in the public just seems to understand and catch on to these things so quickly that, you know, there's a lot of cases with no red flags, right? A lot. There's a lot of cases out there with no red flags. Okay, one that didn't have any red flags that we just covered it, Elisa, the little runaway. And then 3 men were arrested, right? And I think there's going to be 2 more arrested in that case now. That we didn't blame parents or anything of this nature. We didn't say that their stories were inconsistent or didn't add up or didn't this or that, right? Why? Because they were true, pure-hearted, concerned, freaked out parents that were trying everything in their power to get their daughter home. Trying any way possible to reach the world, so the world would know who Elisa was, to bring him home. That's why we didn't question them or raise alarm or think it was suspicious. We didn't. And that could have been an easy thing that we could have said was suspicious, right? But we didn't. Even when they said she had $1,500 cash on it, we didn't think that was suspicious, right? That's what I'm getting at. And we see, as a public, we've seen too many of these cases, for one, is the problem. And some of them follow a pattern of lies and BS. And I think we saw that in this case, like we did in Summers, like we did in, heck, even adult cases, right? I still think something bad happened to Jessica Kemp at that campsite, right? all four doors being open like that in her car, all her belongings dumped out in the car. She called the police that night on May 5th and said somebody was hiding under her car or whatever. Okay, this is just something, I know they blame it on medication. This is what bothers me. If you felt, cops, that her stopping her medication was making her see things that weren't there, why did you not take her in to a hospital to get checked out, right? Why did you just blow it off, right? Kind of like Travis Decker. What did his wife say? He was a ticking time bomb, right? The military, whatever he experienced, witnessed, went through, all that was haunting this man. Some people can't handle it. Some can. Some people will never even talk about what happened unless you talk to them about it, right? But one thing I learned as having a lot of family members in the military, right? My grandpa used to always say, anything you want to ask me, just ask me. If I don't want to tell you, I won't tell you. If I want to tell you, I'll tell you, right? Because I used to ask a lot of questions. How many planes you shoot down, right? I was a kid, right? I wanted to know. I always looked up to my grandpa. He raised me pretty much. I always looked up to him. I didn't really have a father in my life, so my grandpa was like my dad. So I always looked up to him and always, I wanted to be like him. I wanted to, it's just how it was. He was like my father figure, right? And so I would always ask crazy questions. And sometimes he would tell me an answer, sometimes he wouldn't. But the way he carried himself and handled himself, it didn't affect him in the ways that it affected others, right? And his plane was shot down, right? My grandpa's plane was shot down, right? I mean, he made it, but still, all in all, he had some trauma, but he just didn't let it affect his everyday life. I guess he got the right help, or he made sure that he somehow maintained a family first focus. And in this case, we didn't have that. Travis Decker, we didn't have that, right? A lot of these cases that we're seeing with military dads or moms, right? Sebastian Rogers' mom was in the Navy too. We're seeing a lot more of them snap, right? And of course, we're always first to blame them, but maybe it's the system. Maybe they're not getting the help they need, right? I'm not here to defend anyone. I'm just saying proven facts. People that come back from war snap. I used to have a guy that I knew. Actually, he was a mechanic, worked on my vehicles. And he served in World War II on the ground. And he served, Vietnam, Vietnam. And he would tell me things. He went to church every Sunday. I would always say hi to him in church. I remember that. His name was Mr. Virial, and he had a plate in his chest from where he had taken a couple of bullets and some fragments, and he just said, you do not know what it's like to hide in the jungle where they know it better than you, and you feel like you're just waiting for your number to be called, right? And the fear of that for months upon end. Not having the proper food, not having the proper hygiene, not having medicines, not, like you said, man, it's just, some people dealt with it differently. And if anybody, you would think, after hearing this man's stories, you would think, my God, how does this man stay sane, right? And of course, he always said God, right? He found God. When he came back, he drank a lot. And then after a few years, when his wife was on the verge of leaving him and he was going to lose his kids, he found God, right? And it helped him to, I guess, heal. He went to a counselor. He did these things. He utilized the VA, right, for those things. And, I mean, the tools are there. It's just a lot of people are too prideful to ask. And, in this case, when you hear it from the ex-wife like that, like, this is not a cold-blooded, evil person. It's just a badly battered and bruised war veteran, right? Someone that experienced things that a lot of people will never experience in their life. And of course, what he did was wrong, and he needs to pay the ultimate punishment. But the thing is these kind of things can be learned from. To me, it can be learned from. We're seeing it more and more and more and more. And what do they usually do? They either sit up on a hill and they snipe a bunch of people because they've been begging for help that they're not getting, or like the guy over there, remember that at that truck stop or whatever, they hid up in the mountains, and then that couple found him, and they followed the buzzards or whatever. There's just so many of them that there's a lot of them we never even hear of. They don't even make the media, right? They don't make mainstream media. This one did because 3 children were involved, and it's a huge manhunt. Uh, I wish them the best at finding this man. Do I think they're gonna find him? I honestly, I don't think they're gonna find him unless he wants to be found. Unless they'll bring in a team, which we know they're not gonna do. But if they would bring in a team, special forces, elite forces, something like that, maybe the Ghost, maybe somebody like that. If they'll bring in a set of eyes that think like him, breathe like him, act like him, know the woods like him, that might be a possibility of locating and bringing him home. But I mean, bringing him justice, right? It's a heartbreaking story, and I know I haven't covered it a lot because it does hurt. Some of these cases are almost unbearable to cover. This is one of them. I wish them the best at finding this man and nobody else getting hurt, right? Because if this man is willing to do what he did, there's nobody going to stand in his way. He could care less about any of those law enforcement people that are chasing him down with dogs and guns. That's just going to spark something different in his mind, right? I just pray to God he doesn't have any firearms or weapons. I hope not. I'm assuming he probably does, but I hope he doesn't. At least I hope he doesn't have any like rifles, right? Where he can be way up in a hill somewhere and they'll never see him. I hope not. But, you know, remember the other one? Who were the ones that they would hide in the trunk of the car? They took out the key lock hole, remember? And they were driving around sniping people. And it was a younger guy and then an older guy that was a sniper in the military. And they were using rest areas. Y'all remember that case? It's been years ago. But they had that blue car and they would hide in the... One of them would lay in the trunk and they would snipe people in parking lots. Just because they snapped, right? I don't get it. And a lot of times what we learn is that these people have been begging for help. They've been saying they're hearing voices, something's wrong in their head, and they just don't get the help they need. And a reason for that, in my opinion, if you're strong enough to go to war, you should be strong enough to make it in everyday life. Because the sacrifices you make to go over there and face what you face is to, when you come back, be free. But some people's brains don't work that way. But enough about that. It's too heartbreaking to talk about. I pray to God justice is done for those 3 angels. Their mother her life is never going to be the same. He ruined her entire, he ripped her life apart, and maybe that was his plan. But anyway, he ripped that woman's life apart. She will never, ever, ever, ever recover from this. There's just no way. Not when it's all 3 of your children like that. This is something unheard of. But it isn't really, but it is. It is now, but it's happened so many times before. And the reason I say that is because you had 3 angels there, and then if you look over to Jack and Lily Sullivan, you have 2. I'm wondering, did Daniel serve any kind of military, right? I don't think he did with his past. I don't think he would have made it. I don't think he could even got in. You know what's so funny is the photos that I pulled off of, I don't think I showed them to y'all yet. I went in and typed in different dates and pulled it up on Google Earth. You know, about 4 years ago, that trailer house looked completely empty. That camper wasn't there, none of the stuff was in the yard. It just looked like it was deserted, guys. So this is someone that said he grew up there, lived there his whole life. Well, maybe they all lived in that trailer house at that time, but there was no vehicles there, but maybe they were at work, I don't know. But it just looked like deserted. There wasn't nothing like it looks now. Like, it has been a drastic change in just less than 4 years. And I'll show you all the pictures later. I don't have that other phone with me right now. Because I am getting ready to go to work. But anyway, it's like right at 7 now. I got to get out of here. I should have left an hour ago, but I told them I was going to be a little bit late because I had some stuff to do. And I didn't get to bed till late. Like, that video I did last night at like about midnight or 1, I just loaded it this morning like at, what, 5, about 4:45, I guess, 5 o'clock this morning. at least y'all get to see that I don't have much time at home right now. And I'm still trying to do my best to make content. But, this Jack and Lily case, for him to come out and ask us to leave the mother alone, that's never going to happen. But it seems like they're confident, like Chris and Katie, right? Don't y'all see that? Y'all see that pattern? They look to me like they are like 100% confident and like that they're gonna get away with this, right? Do y'all see? Is that what it looks like to y'all? That's what it looks like to me, man. And I don't know if that's what's gonna come, but I'm just saying. I'm thinking that it's gonna either one, it's gonna be like Sebastian Rogers' case, or and somewhere else it's just gonna fade and it's gonna move on. I don't think this one will stay in the spotlight as long as Sebastian did. It's gonna be hard to top Sebastian Rogers' case. I think this one stayed in the spotlight so much longer. Well, of course, it's the Riley Strand really helped this case. Bless his heart, God rest his soul in peace. He really made this case because a lot of people were in that area, so close to that area. And just think about the amount of people, right? Like that were in that area. It's just, how does someone just vanish like that? They don't. Just like Jack and Lily, they didn't go out that door. For one, she's now changing her story to maybe they went out the front yard and walked to the road and met someone. Okay, this is a school day. People aren't, there's nobody out there than one car that's unidentified that they think now has to do with Malaya's family. So make that make sense. I'm sorry, don't think that they're not suspects in this. They are. They're not been cleared. They're not going to clear these people, just like the prophets are not cleared either. There's a reason for that. So, my prayers, I pray that they get justice. I pray that they're found. I always pray for all the missing and all the runaways. They run for a reason. And I hope that somewhere, someone discovers the truth. It's in front of us somewhere. But how much more does law enforcement know? That's what I want to know. Because it's starting to look like now, like they may not have very much like they'd made out. Or the only one thing that's bugging me is, for one, no arrests yet. But two, is they said they had forensic evidence from inside that home. What kind of forensic evidence? That's what I want to know. Is it, when you say it that way, you think, okay, they got these people. They know something bad happened to these kids. So what? It's not like nowadays you have to find them to bring charges. No, you can bring charges without finding them. Look at Suzanne Simpson case, right? It's you don't have to recover. Yes, they need to. But by now, they could be around the world, guys. 30 plus days. And if that's the case, guess who else is headed that way? Travis Decker. I think he's already in Canada, but we'll see. Of his training, I think he's already in Canada, and probably has been for a day or so. Unless that was just a way to fool them and to think he's going that way, and he actually went the total opposite. I heard from someone that I know that it's a possibility that they think he might have been trying to actually go to the Appalachian Trail in Tennessee. There's a lot of old abandoned cabins and stuff in the trails. I've hiked those trails. It's very fun. Actually, with my kids. It was a lot of fun. It's a lot of hiking. Smoky Mountains, right? You go in there where Dolly World is, right? That big water park and stuff. And it's like a small Disneyland. Dolly Parton owns it. Wonderful place. I recommend it highly. That is so much fun. There's no lines. There's no, it's not like going to Disney. I've been to Disney so many times, I can't even count. Probably at least 8 or 9 times. But Dolly World, I've only been once, and I will go back again. That's my kids, even though they're getting older, they still loved it. And they have the Great Smoky Mountains and all that good stuff. And it's just a nice trail, right? Actually, you know who hiked that trail before? Who spent, what, a month on that trail? Was Brian Laundrie. Remember, he did a solo thing there and then filmed it or whatever. He was there for a couple of months, remember? During the Gabitito case, they talked about that. You know, that's a well-known, there's a lot of areas that's so dense and so thick. You would never find someone living there. They say that there's up to 100 homeless living in that trail, and you can't even see where they're living, right? It's that big, it's massive. Plus it has freshwater sources. It has so much vegetation and food. It's just an area where you could live off the land, right? I don't know if that to be true or not. I'm just saying I heard that it's possible that he evidently had talked about that area before, right? This is a guy that loved to go hiking and camping. And the scary thing is, you know, this Jessica Kemp thing. Someone, you know, was in her car, they think, well, she said someone was under her car. Someone, you know, she called law enforcement that night about it. You know, this case, I'm really digging on this case. I'm trying to understand. Something happened to this woman. 32-year-old little bitty petite woman. She did a lot of solo camping though. She had no fear, right? For being small and little, she had no fear. She loved the outdoor world, right? And she had fun and done it all these years and never had a problem. But what happened? What changed, right? She met someone discovered her at that campsite, in my opinion. And I think they were either watching her and she saw them and called 911. And maybe they left for a little while. But people that know those areas know people are eventually going to lay down in their tents and go to bed, right? Well, there's no lock on a tent, right? Unless you have like me, because my kids are always paranoid. So I had to create it, had to add things to the zippers, and then put the two zippers together with the little lock. Because we have like a 2-bedroom tent. It's huge. Got like a living room and a bedroom on the left, bedroom on the right. And we never really used the bed. We would set the bedrooms up with like little tables, and that would be like a little eating area. But then the main big room in the living room of the tent is where we would all lay our air mattresses and cots and sleep. But, you know, there's just so much that goes into that to think about. I think someone got this woman. I really do. I don't know. I'm going to keep digging, but I know because she had mental health and she was substances. She was addicted to substances at one point in her life, maybe even then. People aren't going to get, she's not going to get the publicity, right? Just like Emma Baum never got it out. I think that's so unfair, but they never really get into the big spotlight, right? But you got to look at little Alyssa, the 15-year-old. Look how she took over. She was starting to take over Jack and Lily case. And luckily, she walked into that police station in Colorado Springs. Thank God. I still want to know the truth behind all that. I want to know where she was and who was keeping this girl for all that time. Somebody had to have been keeping her there in Colorado Springs, and somehow she had to get there. I think it was a secret. I think that last message proved my theory that she had met someone else that was willing to act and not put her off like the other ones were kind of doing. And I think she was looking for an opportunity to get out of there. And I think whoever this person was in Colorado Springs said, hey, just get to this point, make it look like you're going this way, and I'll get you. And I think that's what happened. And I'm hoping that's what's going to come out as the truth, right? Like I said, I think there might even be 2 more people that are going to be arrested in this case. Make an example out of these people. Give them the maximum. Give them 40, 50 years for this. And maybe, just maybe, people will think twice. Heck, give them a chair. I mean, whatever it takes. We're going to have to get stiffer on these things, or these kids are going to keep vanishing. And they're going to keep being trafficked, and they're going to keep being trigger warnings. They're going to keep, all these bad things are going to continue to happen. Jack and Lily, a lot of people think these parents sold these kids. I don't think that, but then the only thing that makes me think that way, it's a possibility, is him trying to give his bank statement so early on. That is a red flag. There's a lot of red flags. And I'm sorry, but the mom, to me, is starting to look at the biggest red flag of all. I think she knows exactly where these children are. Sorry, but in my opinion, she's too quiet to not. She knows what happened. I believe that mother knows the truth, and hopefully they'll find it. But anyway, guys, I got to get out of here. Y'all have a good one. We'll talk soon. I just wanted to talk a little bit about a few of these cases and, bring them up. And I did one this morning early, too, about what's her name was found. Is it Phoebe Bishop? Phoebe Bishop, the teenager that was missing in New Australia. She was 9 kilometers from the other spot they were searching. But they found out due to those 2 roommates of hers, caregivers, roommates, whatever, that on their phone, they tracked their GPS data to that location at that park, that wildlife park or whatever, and they found her in a little shallow grave area. It's a heartbreaking story. That teenager, she's a beautiful little girl, did not deserve that. My condolences to her family. See, I don't know, I even cover half of these cases, right? I do a lot of cases behind closed doors people don't know about. I help in a lot of ways, if I can. And this, of course, is in New Australia, but still something that needs to be talked about. The main thing is they found her. Yes, the ending is tragic and sad, but at least the family can get that sense of closure, that she's not just out there laying somewhere and they can't find her and bring her home, right? Of course, it's a sad story, and I hope these 2 pay with the ultimate price. They looked pretty evil to me. But anyway, they did discover her. I did get that confirmation on report, on an email report that I had signed up for about getting information on it. So I try to do that. Like, if I don't have time to really research them right away, I'll sign up for those alert things on that case if they offer one. Usually they do. And then you'll get an alert when something happens in that particular case. Like the FBI files one, I have all that. So anything that puts out by FBI that's something breaking or whatever, I get it on an email, an alert, and then I just go pull it up, right? Anybody could sign up for it. I think the only thing is the background they do, but it's free. I think it may be $1 to do the FBI one. They just kind of run a little background on you, and then they start giving you all the alerts, which is good. It's good to be part of that, because you get, especially like Sebastian Rogers' case tonight, the rewards given by FBI, Stephanie Darwin, the rewards given by the FBI. These, if anything breaks in these on the FBI's end, I'll at least get the information and the alert I can bring it to y'all. But anyway, guys, y'all have a blessed one. Remember, these are my opinions, allegedly, my thoughts, my theories, my free speech, my speculation, mixed with a little facts, little fiction, entertainment purposes only, whatever you want to say. I don't care how you say it, but just remember, these are my thoughts. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But I did want to take a few minutes to talk about Jack and Lily and Jessica Kemp and some of these other cases. And of course, little Phoebe Bishop, that's a sad story, but I'm glad that she was found. It's sad how she was found, but at least she was found. And it was cell phone technology. Here we go again, as we always say, cell phones, cameras are taking over the world, and thank God, because they're solving a lot of these cases. I know it was 3 weeks that she went missing, I think on like the 15th or something of May, but at least now she's been located and her remains, they found her, put it that way. Anyway, y'all have a blessed day, guys. Just like the one on the pipeline trail in Alaska. Remember the little blonde that they found, discovered unalive, and didn't have any clothes on or whatever? That ended up being that she went out there with someone and ended up ODing while she was with this person, and I think they staged it to look like that or something. But since it was on a tribal and Indian, they didn't really put anything about it. But I did want to bring that up to y'all. They did catch the person that did that to that girl. Heartbreaking story. There's so many of them out there. But anyway, guys, y'all's comments, y'all's alone, not the Flex channel. We do our research together. We are a big heart little family. Trigger warning times 100 million, 100 million, 500 million, billion, whatever you want to say. Keep everybody in your thoughts and prayers, all these cases. Power of prayer is good. Y'all have a blessed day, guys. We love all y'all. We'll talk soon. Be safe. All right, guys. Bye.